Hello, and welcome to another solo episode of the Many Faces of Cancer podcast. I am your host, Melissa Grosboll, and as this is the end almost of 2024, I wanted to share with you a little alternative take that I have on New Year's resolutions. As again, we're getting to the end of the year, depending on when you are listening to this, as I am recording this. And so many people make New Year's resolutions every year only to see them not come to pass. And then we feel guilty or we get down on ourselves or we feel like a failure because we can't stick to our resolutions. I often joke that I want to start a business called Resolutions. And for the first 3 weeks of the year, it's a gym. And the rest of the year, it is a bar. I saw that somewhere and I just thought it was hilarious. And it's a little bit sad as well. So I want to share a little bit today about what I do instead of making New Year's resolutions. And I've never been hugely goal oriented. So I have set goals in the past and then not achieved them. And again, it's like a blow to my self-esteem. And I just, then I feel bad and then I don't want to do anything. So I think it was in the beginning of 2023. So that's almost 2 years ago. I read the book. This was before I got diagnosed. And I was very grateful once I got diagnosed to have read this book because it has really, really helped me a lot over the last 2 years in changing things in my life to become more healthy all around, to, as I say, become and stay an inhospitable host for cancer. And the book, I'm sure many of you have read it. If you have not, then it needs to be on your list for 2025. And the book is called Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now, I'm sure if you haven't read it, you have probably heard of it because it is amazing. It is such a fantastic book. The book itself says tiny changes, remarkable results, and an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. So instead of talking about New Year's resolutions or goals or something that is, this is for the whole year and I'm going to make all of these changes in my life, it's going to be great. 2025 is going to be my year. I want to implore you to think about creating habits and small changes. What does it say? Tiny changes, remarkable results. There is a Japanese term called Kaizen, and Kaizen means, in the general sense, to improve 1% daily. So it's not making huge sweeping changes that are possibly unsustainable. It's improving a little bit every day, something that is manageable, something that we can feel good about doing, that can lead to big results over the course of a year. So what I did after I read this book is I looked at things that I wanted to change in my life or habits that I wanted to create in my life, and then followed some of the plans and some of the ideas that are in this book. My favorite of all was called habit stacking. And this is something that I do to this day that has helped me to put habits in place and keep them. Now, before I get into that, what are some of the habits that I'm thinking about as far as being healthy in the new year, being cancer-free in the new year, being strong and healthy to get through treatments in the new year and come out on the other side healthy and stronger and in better shape. Things that they say to do to help prevent cancer or to help, be healthy going forward so cancer doesn't come back are losing weight, eating healthy, exercise, proper sleep, mindfulness, meditation, whatever mindfulness is to you, emotional health. So, really putting yourself first, avoiding alcohol, avoiding sugar and processed foods. Like these are just some of the many, quitting smoking. Yeah, these are some of the many risk factors for cancer and some of the things that, removing environmental toxins from your environment. And when you're first starting out, at least for me, it was so overwhelming. And I knew from past experiences, if I tried to change all of that, I was going to fail monumentally and end up doing nothing. So the things that I did were small changes, a little bit at a time. And once you kind of get one thing down, then you can move on to something else. So if you say, hey, I'm going to create 12 new habits on January 1st, chances are, unless you're a superhuman, and if you're superhuman, you probably don't need to institute these habits anyway because they're already there, you're going to end up failing at most of them. So what I did was I started with one thing and got in the habit of doing that. And then once I was in the habit of doing that, then I moved on to the next thing. And it was just a little bit at a time, which helped me cement those habits into place. Now, I talked about habit stacking. So habit stacking is taking something that you're already doing, that you do every day, and adding another habit on top of that. So an example, and what I do is after my surgery, my breast surgeon told me I need to massage my breast every day. Helps to break up the scar tissue, helps to, I don't want to say remold, but where the tumor was taken out, there's some deformation. So it helps to keep everything supple in there and looking good. It helps to move the lymph. It's just good all around. And we should be massaging our breasts every day. So what I did was, and what I still do, when I'm in the shower, I take a shower every day. When I put conditioner in my hair, I have to wait for 60 seconds before I rinse the conditioner out. So instead of lollygagging or daydreaming or doing whatever you do in the shower while you're waiting for the conditioner to set before you rinse it out, I added on massaging my breast. And so I do it every day in the shower. I don't condition my hair every day. So I make sure now that the habit is in place that when I'm in the shower, I find that minute to massage my breast. Habit stacking. If you have a problem taking your medications and you forget, you brush your teeth every day. So brush your teeth. And then when you rinse, add on, take your medication. It's right there. You're stacking habits on top of each other so that something that is already a habit, you can add something new to. That's been probably the biggest thing that I've gotten from this book. Another thing is to make the habits easy. And that involves removing bad things as well as adding in good habits. So for me, sugar is my kryptonite. And I have had a real challenge this month with the holidays and the abundance of cookies and sweet treats and everything that goes with my traditions of Christmas. So when I first was diagnosed and decided to make these changes, I learned that if it's in the house, I will eat it. If it's not in the house, I'm not going to take extra time out of my day to go to the store to get a candy bar so I can eat sugar. So I removed all of the junk from my pantry, from my house, and stocked it with stuff that was good for me. So instead of cookies, I bought berries. Berries are now my sweet treat. And so if it's not in the house, I'm not going to eat it. My husband still likes his cookies. He likes his sweet treats. So we kind of have a rule, two rules actually. He normally doesn't buy things that I like. So as far as cookies, homemade chocolate chip cookies, fresh baked, soft chocolate chip cookies, and Reese's peanut butter cups are my two things that I almost can't resist if they are within my vicinity. So for one thing, he's not a big fan of either. So he usually doesn't buy those, and they're not in the house. If he does buy something that, if I'm having a really bad day, I may go and find anyway, like Oreos, he hides them. He hides them in his office. He hides them somewhere. And I'm not going to go digging through his stuff to find those cookies. By the time I get to that point, I'm in trouble anyway. So I just don't let myself get to that point where I'm going to go digging through his stuff to find those cookies. I will put my mind on something else and I'll go for a walk or I'll do something else. So those are things that we have put in place to help avoid the temptation, because if it's not here, I'm not going to eat it. Now, it's totally different if I go out or I'm at the store or something like that. And those are things that I still work on because I have a sugar addiction and it's a challenge. But little things that you can put in place to make things easier to follow. When it comes to exercise, you know, I've been a fitness buff for, I don't know, 15 years now at least. And so this is really easy for me. But when I was first getting started, I would put my clothes, my workout clothes, in the bathroom. So I get up in the morning, first thing I do, I get up in the morning, I go in the bathroom, boom, all my workout clothes are sitting there. At first that didn't work because I just look at them and go back to bed. So what I did was I actually slept in my leggings and my sports bra. And so when I got up in the morning, boom, I was already dressed. All I had to do was put my shoes on and go out the door. Plus, I exercise first thing in the morning. I like to joke that I work out first thing in the morning before my brain wakes up and realizes what I'm doing. And it's funny, but it's also in a way true. And even to this day, 15 years later, if I don't get my workout in first thing in the morning, the chances reduce that I'm going to get it in at all. Because during the day, things come up, things get in your way. The end of the day, you're tired. You just want to go home and rest. If you're going through cancer treatments, you are tired by the end of the day. The last thing you want to do is go to the gym or go exercise. So first thing in the morning, there's less to get in your way other than sleep, which you can overcome. You're more likely to make it a habit, and there's less things that are going to distract you from going to the gym or going for a walk or whatever kind of exercise that you do. So these are just some of the things that I created. There's so many more, and I could probably talk for 2 hours about different things, different habits that you want to create, and how to add those on to things. The other thing is going for a walk that I want to touch on really quick. Studies have shown that a 10 to 15-minute walk after you eat helps boost your metabolism. It helps improve digestion. It helps you to lose weight, and it has a whole host of benefits. Now, if you're struggling to get in however many steps you want to do a day, if you're struggling to get in exercise activity, if you find yourself just sitting at your desk all day and not moving, this is another example of habit stacking. So you eat your meal and then you go for a 10-minute walk. You just walk around the block. I love doing this, especially after dinner. It helps your food to digest before you settle in for the evening or go to bed. Take a 10 to 15-minute walk. Yes, I know it's winter. A lot of places are really cold right now. My husband continually says that there's no bad weather. There's just bad clothing choices. I don't 100% agree with that. I don't like to be outside in the cold. And getting that walk in is very, very important to my health. I will 100% admit I don't do it every day. If it's really cold or it's snowing or it's just outside, I generally don't go for a walk, but I try to be more active around the house. I do the dishes, I clean up, I go upstairs and I brush my teeth. I just try and be active after meals if I'm not going to go outside and go for a walk. But that's a thing that you can stack. So, hey, I just had lunch. And for many people, we eat lunch at our desk while we're working. Take that 10 minutes and go for a walk. Get away from your desk, get away from work, do something good for you. So I'm wishing you happy holidays, happy new year. I'm not telling you not to make New Year's resolutions. I'm not telling you not to set goals. This episode is just to give you an alternative if you know that those aren't going to work, that this is something that we don't have to call a resolution. It's just a new habit that we are putting into place, and it's one. And then, hey, this went really well for a week. This went really well for 2 weeks. I've got this down. I'm going to add in another one. And if you do a habit every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, you've got, here we go, math. You've got 18 to 26 new habits that you can create throughout the course of 2025. So I love you all. I am grateful for you all, for everyone who listens to this podcast, for everyone who lets me know how this podcast has helped them, all of my guests, and I hope that you are loving all of the interviews as well. And I am wishing you an incredible, amazing, successful, healthy, wonderful 2025. And I will see you on the other side. Bye-bye.